All right, welcome to the show. We've got a banger for you today, but before we get started, like, share, and describe for more of an individual's perspective. Let's get into it.
As you may know, I've recently had my first professionally done photo shoot in quite a while, the shots of which are to share with you here on social media, but also to build up a little bit of a portfolio of some modelling shots. It was actually really nice having a friend come around with a good eye for lighting, setting and poses.
Fab, can you put your arms further behind you? Yes.
We managed to get some cute shots with the lingerie in the bedroom, as well as some on the staircase, and finished up the shoot in the oddball set with the pinball table.
That's really nice, one more.
I'm wondering if anyone can recommend a modelling agency for me. I would probably be interested in working independently or for an agency. What do you think I should do?
I'm getting way too old for this.
Why does your hair turn white?
Because it makes me look more badass.
So why have your nails turned black?
Because it makes me look
That's what happens when your parents try to be your friends.
It's March 31st, 2025. I am a 58-year-old adult human female. I am formally making my proclamation, exclamation, right now to you. I will no longer be associating with any white males of any kind. It does not matter if liberal or conservative. It does not matter what color hair or eyes. As long as the skin is white and it is a male, I will not be associating with it anymore. The symbolism of a white male has become the epitome of hate. This is my formal proclamation.
As a white man, ma'am, we greatly appreciate it.
I'm not really offended by being called a man, because the hardest person to convince I was a woman was myself, because I was in denial for a long time. And in fact, I didn't want to be a woman. I didn't want to be having to carry around this trans label, which felt so political and scary my whole life. And it took so much self-acceptance and embrace and confidence to be able to even just accept and acknowledge that I was a woman, that you calling me a man doesn't make me feel threatened or change the way that I see myself, because I was the hardest person to convince of who I was. And the moment that I accepted that and was brave and embraced it, no one else could tell me different, babe. So if you're trying to offend me by calling me a man, I would look at why you think that might be offensive to me, what you're hiding, what you're scared of. But for me, it doesn't change how I feel, who I am. So
Yeah, somehow I don't think you were the hardest one to convince. We can all see you, right? You are visual. We can see you. And I'm glad it doesn't offend you. You know. 'Cause you're a man.
Did you get the picture of Elon's that comes with it?
Wait, Elon's meat got leaked?
It's in the Tesla. Go ahead, you'll find it. It's in the settings.
Did you see the leak too?
I did.
What was up?
Very
He got a little
hard
meat.
to get.
Elon, is that true? Bro, Elon got little meat. Did you know that? You seen it? They seen it.
It's in the Tesla under the settings.
Two-hand maximum glide.
Did you just misgender me?
Oh my god, no. Wait, I'm sorry.
What? So you got a high calorie communist. That's a high calorie communist if I've ever seen one. And she's making fun of somebody else's manhood. Hey lady. Hey commie. Shave the beard.
I'm just curious, how do you feel about trans men competing in men's sports?
I think men should be in men's sports, women should be in women's sports.
I mean, people should be able to compete in their own divisions. Like
Exactly.
trans women in women's sports.
No, men in men's sports and women's in women's sports. We're so close.
Why does that upset you?
You don't want to have a woman in a guy's locker room or a man in a woman's locker room. It's a security issue.
But there aren't any women in men's locker
Well, what if their transition isn't complete? What if the man still has a
Okay. So what?
That's an issue.
Do you think women have ever seen a before?
Well, they shouldn't in a locker room.
They could see a trans woman's Who cares?
Do you have any thoughts on that?
Just because, like, a woman was born with male genitalia doesn't make her less of a woman than anybody, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a trans woman's Does that bother you?
Yeah, does that bother you? Oh, well, I hope it doesn't bother you. Because, I'm going to show you mine right now, okay? So I hope nobody's bothered. You ready? You ready? All right.
What are you doing? Why are you in the girls' bathroom? But you're not a girl.
Oh, we're doing one of these.
Yeah.
Interesting. Never had this before. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, I pay a lot of money to be safe in the bathroom.
Me too. Excuse me.
Do you think that's okay?
And I think that was Planet Fitness. I hope you've got your $15 membership for that, ladies.
Do you agree with like minors and children transitioning?
Absolutely, yes, I do.
Yeah?
I do.
So you're okay with like mutilating body parts that are healthy and things like that?
I'm not mutilating anybody.
Well, no, you don't, but that would be saying like you're okay with murder because you're not the one murdering.
I don't murder anybody.
Kind of sounds like you're okay with murder, though, and cutting off people's body parts. Listen to that.
My child just came out as transgender and I'm a Christian mother, so I want you to know how it happens in my house. First, we sat down for a talk so that we could fully understand exactly what's going to go on around here. And then we went shopping and got a haircut. Yeah. This is my son, Jaden. Isn't he handsome? I love you. And hey, listen, no matter who you are, if your kid comes out, you love him. It's your job. You're the parent.
Well, actually, Christian lady, one of your jobs is absolutely to love your children. Come here. Your other job is to teach your children. What you just taught your child was, if they come out, they get special stuff.
Actually have a new favorite, KN95. To break into a top spot, a mask needs to be a trifold. I love it, especially if it's kind of approximately my skin tone, so it blends in a little bit. I feel like I get harassed less in public that way. Having a wire for the nose to help with fit, no glasses fogging, and comfortable ear loops, and have the interior of the mask also not be scratchy against my skin. It's got adjustable ear loops to really help keep that tight seal, and we've got a foam nose bridge in addition to the wire, so really helps get that tight seal. So for me, always in a high risk situation, I'm going to go with a 3M Aura N95, but for everyday lower risk scenarios, this one, the Well Before in khaki, is going to be my new go-to. I think it looks great.
It's like a religion to these people. I swear, I wish those masks prevented the disease of communism. Then I would definitely wear a mask.
Mommy.
When did she tell you were a girl?
'Cause I love girls.
Oh, I see. So mommy told you were a girl?
Uh-huh.
Does mommy do anything else like with a girl with you?
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
Like dresses.
What does she do?
She puts them on me.
She puts dresses on you? Oh, wow. And what else does she do?
She buys my headbands.
Uh-huh.
and she gave me hair clips,
Oh, hair clips? Okay. What else?
some microphones,
What else?
like a skeleton.
Does she do anything with your fingers?
Yeah,
What?
she paints my nails.
Why does she do that?
Because I love my nail polish.
Oh. So mommy puts you in a dress and puts nail polish on you? And what does mommy tell you?
She tells me I'm a girl.
Oh, okay. Do you think you're a girl?
Uh-huh.
You do?
The state of California says that I have to pay for the chemical and physical castration of my son as child support. I'm not going to pay that child support. I'm not going to pay anything to hurt my son.
And that means you'll be going to prison?
California is going to send me to prison for that.
Ooh. Good on that man. Do not pay that. If anybody knows his information, let's put money on his books if he's in jail. There is no such thing as a trans child. There are only abusive parents.
Discuss an incident that quite frankly turns my stomach. This is a story of a 13-year-old girl, 13, who came home from Shepherd Middle School in Deerfield, Illinois on February 5th and was frightened because a biological male was in her locker room. The Deerfield School District 109 administrators told the girl's family that because the boy was transgender, he was allowed to be there. A few days later, the male student was again in the girls' locker room, and the girls refused to change into their PE clothes due to the violation of their space. What happened next is something that, as a parent, I simply cannot comprehend. The Deerfield School District 109 administrators supervised the locker rooms to ensure everyone changed into their PE clothes and allegedly tried to force the girls to change in front of the male student. The parents of the girl have an audio recording of a school official threatening to punish the girls if they refuse to change in the locker room. Folks, these are middle school girls. These educators at Shepherd Middle School are charged with protecting kids. They failed miserably. They appear to have intentionally forced these girls to change in front of a biological male against their will. The seriousness of this incident cannot be understated. What happened at Shepherd Middle School is tantamount to sexual assault, and instead of stopping the insanity, the people in charge were enabling it. 80% of this country does not want males invading female spaces. This country completely rejected this ideology because they understood that males invading female spaces is wrong. And I find it unbelievably hypocritical of the majority party here in Springfield to continually say,
okay, thank you, Representative.
Women. I'll bring it to close, that we represent women, and yet you're letting this type of garbage happen in the state of Illinois.
That's child abuse. That is unequivocally child abuse. Deerfield Elementary, man, that is child abuse. Make sure your children are safe. Make sure they're safe. You can't trust these.
I've never felt unsafe around a trans woman, ever. My womanhood has never felt threatened by a trans woman, ever. And if your womanhood has, I think that speaks more to the fragility of your womanhood than anything about trans women. Because quite honestly, how pathetic to target one of the most oppressed groups in our society. Honestly, loser behavior. And for all those people who say they care about women's sports and women's safety, where are you petitioning for more funding for women's sports? Where are you petitioning for better legislation to persecute sexual assault against women? Overwhelming majority of which is committed by cis men. You don't care about women. You just want to target those that are already oppressed. Loser behavior.
Listen, that's all the logic they have. That's it. That's their entire argument. And they will continue to shame you if you accept that shame. Listen to what she said. She tries to degrade you. She tries to shame you, ladies. Your womanhood is fragile. your womanhood. That makes no sense. You're a woman. It does not make you a less of a woman if you don't want to share your spaces with men. It just doesn't. Pathetic. Loser. I swear to God, man. Women are freaking vicious, and if you let these words and these accusations get to you, yeah, they can drive you into making some really, really stupid and dangerous decisions to confess or profess an ideology that is obviously a lie and obviously not true. Stay strong.
Fuck you! No, because I'm cool. It doesn't matter. I'm defending you, little pussy. I'm defending you. Pussy, little women, cunt. Go fuck yourself. You little fucking little dick. Have you got this? A little bit. You can't even come. Little fucking asshole. Fuck right, come Only in the mouth.
Yo. Mrs. Doubtfire has gotten fat. Mrs. Doubtfire has gotten big. Mrs. Doubtfire has turned into a big back bony girly.
Sir, you need to repent of your sins. You need to repent of your sins, sir. Shame on you walking this way.
Thank you for the message.
You pervert. Put some clothes on. There's children around here.
Thank you for judging
There's
me.
children around here. You need to repent of your sins.
Call the police.
You need to repent of your sins.
Call the police.
I'll call the police. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Jesus wouldn't say that.
You ought to be arrested.
Jesus wouldn't
You ought to be
judge me
thrown
like
into
that.
jail. That's public indecency. Public indecency. Shame.
Yo, you can see his butt cheeks. You gotta love how these godless people try to throw Jesus in your face or throw God in your face when the reality is they wouldn't know God if he fell out of the sky, landed in their face, and started to wiggle, started to gyrate. That is disturbing, and of course that's Walmart people. That's called autogynephilia. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's the sexual arousal of a man who wants to believe he's a woman. It's a mental disorder. He's getting off right now. The next time somebody says, hey, that's not what Jesus do, remind them that Jesus kicked open some doors, threw over some tables, and kicked a bunch of bankers out of his father's house. Listen, I don't know what anybody else has been spoon feeding you guys. I have my own spiritual beliefs, okay? I'm not strictly by the book. I've done a lot of reading of throughout cultures, and let's just say I had a spiritual experience a few years ago that was absolutely mind-blowing. Even when I think back at it, I get filled with tears. I do. Okay? But when somebody tries to throw God in your face or Jesus in your face to justify their obviously damaged, psychologically, mentally perverse delusions. Jesus wasn't a nice man. He was a good man. There is a big difference. Don't be a nice man. Do not be a nice woman. Be a good man and be a good woman. And if you know what I mean, well, then you know.
If trans women aren't women, then is this big croissant not a croissant? Of course it's a croissant. It's made out of butter and dough just like any other croissant. Oh, but there are biological differences. This croissant was born different. I'm not saying that there isn't a cosmetic difference between this croissant and this croissant, but they are both inarguably still croissants. Oh, but they're invading our bakeries and trying to brainwash our kids. But how? By teaching your kids there's more than one way to be a croissant? If anything, the existence of big and small croissants shows our kids how wonderful and diverse the world of pastries can be. Next thing you know, you're going to start demanding that big croissants use separate cafes and identify as scones. So before I demolish this delicious and very valid pastry, repeat after me. Big croissants don't affect me in the slightest. If anything, it's pretty cool that they exist. Maybe one day I'll be lucky enough to find a big croissant and order it and dunk it in hot chocolate. Okay, my metaphor is falling apart, but you get it. All right, here we go. Oh my God. It's as big as my head. It's so flaky, I'm covered in flakes. I don't care that I have hot chocolate over my face. That's incredible.
Repeat after me. Your donut is not a croissant. Your donut is not a croissant. Sure, they're both made with dough and sugar. Let's be honest, I have no freaking idea how to make both. But if I asked for a donut and you handed me a croissant, I would throw the croissant back at you and say, I asked for a friggin' donut. So repeat after me. A donut is not a croissant.
Little bellies, big pockets. Time to get ready for the gym, heifas. We have my little Forever 21 biker shorts. We're gonna throw on my Skims tank. Here we go. And for a cover up, a little Glossier sweatshirt. And now we gotta go get a Celsius. This is forever in my lineup when I go to the gym. So, Blue Crush Celsius. I don't know the difference between these and the other ones, but this is how a little lady becomes little.
That is the best Planet Fitness ad I have ever seen.
Good morning. Do you like my special patch? It's nicotine mixed with estrogen, and it also gives me Cabbage Patch Kids powers. Yep. I'm Fat Albert, and I look like
a psycho nutcase.
I'm a little trans girl, small and cute. These are my pigtails, yes, they're real. I get all steamed up, I can pout. That tip me over part sounds kind of inappropriate though. So I'm gonna stop the song there and keep it kid friendly. Ha! Gay!
This is taking entirely too long. Just entirely too long.
3 out of my 4 children are trans. They're all part of the LGBT. 4 out of 4 of them. 4 out of 4? Yeah. Because Finn. Oh, Finn. Yeah. Are trans. They're part of the LGBTQ community.
4 out of 4 of your kids, huh? Or you're a child abuser. Which one are better odds?
This boy just got top surgery, and he's sitting there boobless. I'm sitting here boobless, and I want to tell you about the journey so far. He goes under for surgery. Hours later, they bring me. They say, he's ready. He can see you. I go to the recovery room, and his surgeon is crouched over him, and there's blood just pouring out of his scars. It's disgusting, and they say we have to take him back in. And I'm like, okay. His right boob wasn't going out without a fight. A blood vessel popped. There was blood everywhere. They had to put him back under and fix it up. Unfortunately, we lost his armpit hair in the process. Only his right armpit. The other one did not get shaved.
Yo, that is the most disturbing video.
I do my business is none of your fucking business.
Where I do my business is none of your business.
Where I do my business is none of your business.
Where we do our business is none of your business.
Where we do our business is none of your fucking business.
Where I do my business is none of your business.
Our biological sex does not decide what toilets we use, our brain does. Let adults decide what toilets to fucking go in. Where we do our business is none of your fucking business!
Yo, I'm a big dude, and I would be scared to go in that bathroom. I'm just saying.
My mama heart is so full today, and I have you guys to thank for that, because the kids started school and they came home so happy, like more than I could have ever asked for. My youngest, who is our non-binary child, mentioned that a lot of the teachers have like safe space stickers on their classroom doors. Our oldest, who is our transgender child, we had to go and sit with the guidance counselor because they're in 11th grade, and we had to make sure that everything would align for graduation requirements. So at that time, we mentioned, the preferred name being Lilac, and it was no problem. It was done like that, and we told her, we're having it legally changed, and she's like, great, bring that paperwork. That helps when it comes to applying for colleges, but other than that, no big deal. What pronouns do you want to use? We didn't even have to bring it up. It's great. And this is upstate. They're so happy. So, thank you to everybody who helped make this possible.
Yeah, they're now putting it underground, and they've got safe space stickers. Do me a favor down in the chat, if you have found these safe space stickers, if you know what they look like, if you've got a photo of them, please put them down there in the bottom. Parents need to know about these little things, so that if you walk up to your child's teacher's classroom and you see these stickers, you are very aware of the type of person you are dealing with.
Who's stopping me? Nobody. So start putting elf ears on. That's definitely a big part of my identity, and like if I'm not all dressed up like this, I don't feel myself. I got my normal band-aid to kind of give it more of like, natural band-aid look, and sometimes I feel a little extra. Put on like an eyeball one, depending on the look. I dyed my hair like this color intentionally to look like blood. I've had a few people actually say it looks like blood, which made me very happy. People think I'm a psychopath or a murderer sometimes. People are gonna judge you, so why not just give them something to judge?
Okay. That's what we're here for. We judging. Yeah. They keep telling us that this whole transgender thing isn't Satanism, and then you come across things like that. When you find out who their God is, you know who I'm talking about. I might do a video on it. But when you find out that their God is transgender, everything else they do and say makes a whole lot more sense. If I was Mexican in Mexico, that video alone would make me want to build a wall against the United States.
I know a trans woman who has had her downstairs done, and she's told me about dates that she's gone on with men. With these men, she has done everything that there is to do, and the men didn't know. First and foremost, that is a testament to modern medicine that it's even possible for that to happen. But it's also an interesting quandary, because at that point, what are you even really disclosing? What is there to disclose? There's no deception. When you're dating someone, you don't have to disclose every single thing about yourself up front. That's the fun of it. it. You get to learn about someone new. If you're in a relationship with someone for long enough, of course it's going to come up, probably sooner rather than later. When you trust someone, you can tell them. I personally put it on my dating profile, but not everyone does, and that's okay. Our transness is not the only thing that defines us. I'm currently in electrolysis. You can't see it, but I'm getting zapped follicle by follicle. It is deeply painful. I do this every single week for multiple hours. For anyone who's interested in switching from a blank to a blank, this is what it takes. So yes, I am going to do it, and I'm very excited about it. I've always been interested in women, but when I did transition, I became more open to dating a non-binary person, specifically a feminine non-binary person, because not all non-binary people are androgynous.
No. In a world where they can actually make a vagina that feels like a real vagina, which would be quite a feat, although, you know, we've all used those fleshlights, and those are pretty decent. In a world where they can actually do that to the human body and you don't disclose, it's still sexual assault. Oh, excuse me. It's still SA. Listen, if there are any trannies listening to my video, don't do that. Ha! Don't do that. You're gonna get yourself hurt. You're gonna get yourself killed. That's literally the equivalent of rape. Oh, grape. I'm still getting used to these freaking guidelines. It's SA. It's close to grape. I don't care what you did to your body.
So you're a male transitioning to
Yes.
a woman. So some people watching this might say, why can't you just do what you do, and people respect that, and you have freedom to do that, nobody has a problem with it, but why can't you just use the men's toilets? Why do you want to share a toilet with women?
Because it makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel like whoever I want to be, I can identify with that gender. And
should your comfort trump the comfort of biological women?
I don't think there are that many women that are actually uncomfortable by it. What is the point of them feeling uncomfortable when it doesn't actually affect them?
Well, it does affect them because they'd be sharing a toilet. Like you're like you're pretty. How tall are you? 6'1"?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're a big person. Males are innately stronger, more powerful than women. You know, that's why male violence is an epidemic. That's why male-female rape is a problem. That's why women feel unsafe because
I wouldn't say that's why, but yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, it's a power thing. I mean, men can manhandle women. It's just a fact. That's why men are better at sport than women. They're faster, they're stronger, they're bigger lung capacity. You know, that's why women feel unsafe. We're just more powerful beings.
Do you
not agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that because I don't think that's a good analysis. I think that
but that's what women say. Women say they feel unsafe because they feel threatened by biological men.
I mean,
you just don't believe them.
Yeah, I don't believe. I mean, I don't believe that when you kind of trap me here, and I can agree with you. You trap me here, and I can't really make my way out.
Mentally ill men are violent. And they want to go into women's bathrooms. And he doesn't believe that you have a valid reason.
Hello, my name is Bridget Bandit, and I'm speaking in opposition to SB 18. I'm a born and raised Texan and full-time drag queen. Previously, I've worked with children throughout my life as a swim instructor, teaching summer art camps, hosting children's birthday parties, and volunteering in my church as a youth group leader. Today, I occasionally host drag queen story times. These kinds of events don't differ much from the kind of work I did before, yet this bill would impact my ability to work with children simply based on a subjective and ill-defined expectation of how I should look.
Yo, if you're going to church, dude, that pastor...
What planet are you from?
Sorry, my bad. If you're going to church, dude, that pastor failed you.
What planet are you from?
I don't know planet-wise, but I do know that I was a dragon being.
Could you really blow fire?
Yes, but it's not fire in the way we think of it. It's more cleansing fire. I always kind of felt attracted to dragons, just feeling like, oh yeah, this is my kind of being. But then, as I was really feeling that, allowing myself to open up more, I'm like, I know what it's like to be a dragon. I know the physical sensations
And then
somehow.
you was on mushrooms and you was just feeling it?
It's actually weed.
Drugs.
You know, it is so disappointing to put this much effort into a Friday night and then go out and nobody shows up. I mean, it's weird about Fridays how sometimes it is as if it's not even Friday, nobody's coming out, and other times it's busy and it's a lot of fun. But today or tonight it was pretty much a waste of time, which is just disappointing to go the entire week waiting for this night to put on something like this and then go there and nobody shows up. So hopefully tomorrow will be better. We'll see. I turn 62 at midnight tomorrow, so not that has or holds any significance, but it is going to occur. So I'm hoping for a good weekend. We'll see.
A 62-year-old man put that on the internet. I don't know where he was going, but I sure as hell wouldn't have shown up either.
Did you know that it is not gay to like trans girls? Good. Remember, it's not gay to like trans girls.
Yeah. No, it's definitely gay to like trans girls. Trans girls are men.
What are invisible but can also be seen? The answer is us. We are trans parents. Happy International Trans Day of Visibility.
Oh no. We definitely see you. We definitely see you.
Y'all are a bunch of transphobic pieces of shit. I hope y'all all burn in hell. Bye, hell, Satan, bitches.
We won't be burning in hell now.
Are really afraid of authenticity and people being their own true selves.
Their own true selves. Transsexualism, trannyism. No, it's not satanic. Right? Just ask the lady who hailed Satan before she left the room.
Good morning. Would you pray with me? Come, Holy Spirit, into the hearts of all of your beloved children, and kindle within us the fire of your unending and relentless love. May all of my words and our hearts together honor you today, O God, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. But performing gender as a daily task, I would argue, is a learned cultural trait to which we have all been exposed. As understandings of drag have changed throughout history, perhaps drag today could be defined as that which threatens the already fragile and arbitrarily constructed framework for gender performance that is necessary to maintain power dynamics. Conversely, it could also be that from the moment we are born, and perhaps even before that, when families gather to reveal the sex organs of their child, that the drag show begins. The blue confetti falls and the pink smoke clears, and there's a mad dash to project cultural and societal expectations of gender performance onto that child. These are learned behaviors that can be shaped either through shame or affirmation based on a perceived correct performance of drag. And it has a profound effect on our imagination and our self-worth and our relationship to the world.
The pieces are fitting together. You know who that was? Do you? That's the pastor that failed that tranny who was arguing for that bill in the one of the other clips. That's the pastor. It all makes sense now. That's the pastor. That's the church he's going to. That pastor definitely failed. Failed that dude.
All right, so this comment is slightly embarrassing. If you are not telling people that you are actually a woman, then you are purposely deceiving them. Let's put this into perspective. So I know, and I can say with my chest, that when people see me, they see a man. Whether they want to or not, they see a man. You don't see a woman. And when you tell me in my comments you do see a woman, cap. If I were to go up to a stranger that doesn't know me, doesn't care to know me, and I know with my chest that they think I am biologically male, that is like me going up to them and saying, I feel like I need to let you know this, because if I don't, I'm deceiving you. But I was biologically born female, and although I don't know you for nothing, I feel like you have a right to know that I am biologically actually female. And I hope that does not affect you in any way. This person would look at me and say, do you want a fucking cookie? You see, y'all beg for all trans people to out themselves in every situation. You are just so entitled to think that we owe you something. But in reality, you know, if we did do this, you'd be like, okay, next question. Like, then you would complain and say, you guys make being trans your whole personality. Y'all want us to make it our whole personality by constantly outing ourselves to make you feel a little bit more comfortable because you're nosy. Most trans people don't ever speak on being trans. They don't. We just live our lives like everyone else. And just because I have this platform where I do openly discuss my transness, in person, I don't. When I'm walking amongst the rest of the world, no one knows I'm trans, and I don't feel like I need to disclose that with anyone because it is 110% irrelevant. Being trans is not my whole personality, therefore I don't need to tell every person I come in contact with that I'm trans, just like y'all wanted, right? The only time, and I'm going to say this one time, because I know I'm still going to get people in the comments saying, oh, you need to tell them if you're sleeping with them. Yes, I agree. And to the person in the comment who's still not going to listen to this part, I agree. A trans person should disclose if they are trans, if they have any intention of sleeping with someone, and that person does not know or is not aware of their situation. Yes, you have a right to know. But outside of sleeping with someone, you do not need to know.
Hey. You know what? You know, Norman had a few points that I agree with. He had a few points. First off, I definitely agree, Norman. I can fully say with my full chest, you look like a dude. You do. If I walked up to you, I think you were a dude. If we were hanging out, I would think you were a dude. But here's the problem is just because you're a successful liar doesn't make your lie moral or decent or good or anything else of like, for that matter. Now, I absolutely have to give it to you, and I fully appreciate that you are one of these very few trannies that knows that they should disclose before sexual intercourse that they are what they say they are. The problem isn't you. The problem is there are a few people out there who won't do that, and they will SA. Hey, I got it. They will SA women and men not disclosing who they are before that point of intercourse. It's because that dude wants to wear a dress and then walk into a bathroom where there are women and little girls. That's why. You see, you have this whole thing focused right on you, Norman. That you see the tree, but you don't see the forest. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about now listen to me closely, the totality of the circumstance.
Womanhood does not exist without trans women. I'll say that again. Womanhood does not exist without trans women. Without trans women, womanhood is not a choice. Gender becomes a fucking prison. Okay? A cage constructed of oppressive binaries designed by white supremacy and built by the patriarchy and facilitated by cis white women. And trans women had previously busted down the doors to those fucking cages and released us to a world of autonomy and opportunity and choice. And there is no limit to the amount of rights and privileges that trans women have fought for and afforded us. Furthermore, nobody respects, values, understands, or embodies womanhood more than trans women. Because how else do you explain relinquishing that proximity to power, the perceived male privilege, in pursuit of womanhood? In pursuit of womanhood, knowing the subjugation and the victimization and the adversity you will face for that choice to be you. And on the contrary, it is cis white women, my fucking peers, shoving us back in that fucking cage and closing and locking the door, but not before they secure a spot beside us first. So allies need to get so fucking for real right now and realize that there is no world without trans women. There is no womanhood without trans women. And we need to start fucking acting like it.
Guys. Oh, she caught us. She caught us. So me and the rest of the white people in the world, and, you know, all the white women and the white men, okay? We were at this large gathering of white people we have. It's kind of like the Illuminati, only we have a lot more mayonnaise, and we love Kool-Aid. Regardless of what the propaganda says, we love Kool-Aid. So we all got together and we said, hey, we should create this prison, this identity prison for people so they can't get out of it. And doesn't that sound absolutely like the dumbest thing you've ever heard in your entire life? Gender is a prison. No, gender was created by God. You were put in the body you were put in. I was put in the body I was put in. Women perpetuate it. That's insane. Yeah, all right. White supremacy created this. Yeah. White supremacy created this, and women spread it. That's lunacy. That's called delusion. Okay, and I can't even be any more clear about it. I can't be any more clear about it. And why would they do that? Why would a man try to become a woman and this or that? There's one main reason, and there are two actual reasons, okay? The very first one is called mental illness. Why would anybody choose to become a bulimic? Why would anybody choose to become a schizophrenic? They wouldn't. They wouldn't choose any of those things. So why do they choose to try to become a woman and chop off their junk? It's flatly simple. It's called mental illness. And the second one is they're Satanists. There is this god called Baphomet. She is a transgender demon that commands their patrons to subserve through that kind of sacrifice. They sacrifice babies. They want people to sacrifice the very ideas of who they are, which is the gender construct confined, the prison that you were put in. I'm not even saying you're wrong. You're in a prison. Listen, I have some wacky beliefs. I actually kind of think that we're in this crazy light prison, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going around shoving my freaking beliefs down people's throat. And so you're kind of right in one thing. There is no womanhood without men, because you have to have men to have women. That's the closest you were right. Everything else you said in this video was delusion. These people are absolutely psycho. They're gone, man. And you can't let it go. You just can't. Nobody can let it go. We can't let it go. And the reason is because we all have to live together. When we go to Walmart, we don't want to see that dude walking around with his butt cheeks hanging out of his dress. Okay? It's because there should be a common form of decency inside our society that we should all adhere to. Whatever you want to do behind your bedroom doors is nobody's business. It's nobody's. It's not the Christian's business. It's not the Catholic's business. It's not the Satanist business. It's nobody's business but yours and the consenting adults. But we need a form of decency. We just do, or we have no society.
Thank you so much. So, I am here as the co-chair of the Trans and Non-Binary Network of the NEU. I'm here as a teacher, I'm here as an activist, but I want to speak to you as a teacher. I teach in an alternative provision where most of our students are trans and non-binary. To be clear, I did not make them trans. The school was like that when I got there. However, they come to us not because of some inherent flaw, but because they are kicked out of the mainstream education system. Their gender expression is seen as a dismissal of behaviour policy. Their self-advocacy is seen as defiance. Their identity as seen as something worth anguish, not pride. However, we sit there, we work with them, we do our best to work through that trauma and show them that learning does not need to be an act of silencing if it is done properly. The guidance that the previous government put out and that our current government is currently honouring is nothing more than despicable. There is no reason why our students cannot be themselves within our classrooms. No reason at all. So I urge you, speak to your MPs, speak to your friends, speak to your families. Hell, speak to that Facebook group of that Karen from your local area. Speak to your D&D club. Speak to your stitching area. Because when I come back into school on Tuesday, I want to be able to tell my kids that when the systems in place fail to protect us, we fight back!
Did you see that large sign in back of that high-calorie communist? At least this one shaved. Did you see the sign? It basically said predatory men are the problem and not us. Hey, you're about half right. Maybe 30%. My math may be off. But yes. Predatory men are the problem. There are predatory men in all walks of life. And there is a whole ton of them who have autogynephilia, who get off pretending to be women, who like to be places they really should not be. So you're right. Predatory men are the problem. And that's exactly what we've been saying. That's exactly what we've been saying. Did you see them? Did you see the children? I counted at least 2. I'm going to go back and I'm going to pause at the specific points when I see them.
Protesting at a Catholic church.
So I counted 2 children going into that family-friendly drag show. Why do you need to bring children there? Just why? Good God, why? I've been to a drag show. All right? I actually grew up a lot in the theater. I was an actor when I was younger. I enjoy acting. Like I said, if you want to do adult drag shows for adults, go wild. I've seen worse. But don't bring the children.
Why are you here today?
It's because I'm gay.
And do you think that trans rights are under threat in this country?
I feel like they would be, especially what's going on with US politics.
Gender critical feminists would say that the T is incompatible with the LGB.
Well, I feel like a lot of people contradict it. I think it's just a way that people live.
So a single sex space for females would mean, by definition, excluding trans women because trans women are male.
Well, no. Trans men are men and trans women are women.
If trans women are women, why are they trans?
If they present feminine and not masculine, then it's pretty clear that they're, like, trans.
So do you think that in order to be a woman, you have to present in a feminine way?
I think slightly, but...
Do you not think that's quite a backwards view of what it means to be a woman, that they have to present in to even any extent of being feminine?
Yeah, I guess you're right then. Yeah.
So why would it matter how feminine a trans woman looks to go into a women's toilet?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think I was just confused.
So do you think, therefore, that women should be able to exclude male people from their single-sex spaces?
No.
So you think that women should not have the right to be in vulnerable situations away from men if those men say that they're women?
Yeah.
So he was like, all right, you got me. Just flat out, I don't care about your rights. So when their ideology fails them, they never fall short of just proving how hypocritical and absolutely loony they are.
I was just in the women's room at a cheesecake factory, and when I walked in, there was this little girl, like 3 years old, tops. She was standing there alone, I assumed waiting for her parent, who was in the stall. And all the stalls were full. So like I couldn't go in, I just had to wait. And it was me and this little girl and no one else. And she kind of looked at me like, and I just like nodded my head and didn't look at her. I was like, it's kind of awkward. And it occurred to me that when the parent, who I don't know, leaves the stall, exits their stall and sees me, a trans person, and their little 3-year-old daughter, that they might make an assumption based on untrue things that they've heard, an assumption that could be very dangerous for me, unsafe for me. So instead of waiting for that to potentially happen, I left the bathroom and decided I didn't need to pee that bad. Trans people go through this thought process any time they're in a bathroom. And it's not okay. And it's important to talk about because it happens all the time.
No, actually, it is absolutely fine. You should go through that every single time. And as a matter of fact, that's actually up until roughly the end. And that was actually your smartest video. You should be afraid of even the perception, because there are some absolute loonies on my side too who will jump to those conclusions. I know a few. I'm not. They don't threaten people. They don't, nothing like that. But if they came in on the wrong circumstances and kind of found, even if it was even remotely looking innocent, they would go a little ape. They would go a little cray-cray. Yeah.
Probably heard about this Supreme Court's ruling on the definition of the word woman. This will have some real serious implications. It will have some consequences. But I want to tell you one thing. They can make their laws. They can specify their definitions. They can take away my rights. But there's one thing that they'll never be able to take from me. And that's who I am. I'm a trans woman and I'm proud. And they'll never be able to take that from me.
Well, we can talk now to the gender-critical activist Maya Forstater, who won a legal battle after being let go by her employer after she stated in social media messages that transgender women are men. And Samantha Kane is a transgender barrister who joins us from the Highlands of Scotland. Maya Forstater first. Is this a victory for common sense, or is it a licence to vilify trans people?
It is a victory for common sense, and it's a victory for women's rights. Calling someone a man or a woman is not vilifying them, it's just describing them accurately, and you need to be able to describe people accurately in order to keep them safe and in order to protect other people's rights. So even talking about it in terms of vilification is wrong. Everybody is born male or female, and that cannot change, and that doesn't mean that they have to live their life according to gender stereotypes, but it does mean that they have to respect other people's rights and privacy.
Samantha Kane, the court has just given biological women back their basic rights.
Yes. Well, if I may jump into here, the issue here is that the ruling of today has already misinterpreted. It's not really for a court, with all respect to the Supreme Court, of course, is to define what's a man or what's a woman. They merely interpreted a very narrow aspect of the Equality Act. And in my view, this definition being taken out of context and indeed inflamed transphobia.
Of course, that's your view. That's a man. So, of course, that's your view.
And other suffering of an already marginalized group in society.
Right. Well, let me get you to answer that, Maya, that this has inflamed transphobia and a marginalised group is now more fearful than it was.
I don't think this has inflamed transphobia at all. The Equality Act protects people against discrimination and harassment. It protects everyone based on their sex, their age, disability, race, and what's called gender reassignment, so being trans. So everyone is still protected against discrimination and harassment at work, using a service, renting a flat, at university, at school, and so on. This is not about transphobia, it's about protecting women's rights, which means you have to know what a woman is. And one thing the Supreme Court said very clearly was that there's very little in common between the group of women, people who are female, born with female bodies, who can dress as they like, and they're not necessarily feminine archetypes, and men who wish to be feminine archetypes. It's an experience in life that a woman just can't have, of being a man who wishes he was a woman.
You know, this actually kind of reminds me of the book 1984. If you've never read it, don't take my word for it. Please read it. It is an excellent book, and it's like a freaking forecast of right now. Okay? The whole language situation that they're trying to push, that they're trying to foist upon the rest of the human population is called something, I think he called it doublethink, where you have two completely opposing viewpoints that are held in your mind that you both hold as true. And here's the prime example. Trans women are women. And the reason why that's a completely differing, opposing view is because on one hand, they're not women; they're very much men. So you know they're men, but then there's this slogan: "Trans women are women." So you know they're men, yet they're women. It causes this short in your brain. The way psychological operations work, the way they're able to control people is through absurdities. If they can get you to believe absurdities, they can get you to believe anything. Don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe what you can see. That isn't a man in front of you wearing a dress. No, it doesn't matter if he has a pee-pee. That's a woman. That's a woman's penis. And that is straight up totalitarian nightmare 1984.
So different groups.
Samantha.
Yeah, can I come in here? And I'm afraid that's quite an unfair generalization. I mean, some of us, the pioneers in sex reassignments, when we underwent that many, many decades ago, we forgot that we were men. I tried to become a man all my life. I couldn't. I literally couldn't. It is not a choice. We were born like this. There's a medical procedure to go through. There is female hormones every transgender takes, which actually feminize every single cell of their body. So if
Okay, so hormones are magic, right? That's why these transgenders gotta keep taking it for the rest of their life, is because their hormones seep into their cells and they become women, but they can't stop being products of the medical, pharmaceutical industry. Yeah, that makes no sense.
the biology eventually changed. I'll give you one example for your information. I had an intimate relationship with a medical doctor in my youth who never realized I was transgender female. And that's to
Yeah. Bullshit.
give you an example. So how you expect me and people like me to go into some male changing room? And I mean, this is a ridiculous, really.
Maya, let me get you to answer that.
I'm not for words. Very often I'm not.
Samantha, let Maya answer your point.
So a gender recognition certificate, in order for somebody to get one, they don't have to have surgery, they don't have to take hormones. All they need to have is a diagnosis, and you can get a diagnosis now for a few £100s on the internet. So, and obviously people who are running public services or people who are using services, for example, if a woman wants a female doctor, she should be able to have a female doctor. And if a man wishes he was a woman and wants to be in that situation, the woman can't ask what surgery have you had and doesn't want to know. You know, the last thing you want to do is talk about somebody's intimate details. So
I'm sorry,
unfortunately, when you have rules, they have to be clear.
Samantha, let me just ask you, after today's ruling, will you continue to call yourself a trans woman or a woman?
I'm not a trans woman, I'm a woman. As simple as that. We don't have a hierarchy of women. All women are equal, and really this is an issue where it is just really by some...
You gotta love the language. All women are equal, and what he does there is he does that, and then he lumps trans dudes in dresses under that label. That's how they're able to lie. Just like in that previous video with that guy that was getting into the argument with the host about men and women's sports and women and men's sports, and you saw how when he answered that question, he was saying, yes, people should be in their own category, but trans women are women. You get the deception now? You get the lies? Trans women are women. So when they say, yes, women should be in women's sports, that's what they mean. That's how they lie to you. That's how, and that's not just this situation. Listen, this is all the communists. This is exactly what communists do. They change the definitions, and this is 1984. This is George Orwell, 1984. They changed the definition. Trans women are women. All women should be in women's sports. This is the insidiousness.
With respect, either hate group or somebody trying to actually incite hatred, because
Maya, let me just put that back to Maya. But do you accept and respect Samantha's definition of herself there?
People can use whatever words they like to describe themselves. Some people call themselves non-binary. But the point is, when you're interacting with other people, with the state, as an employer, as a service provider, or sharing spaces, then the fact that Samantha wants to call himself a woman or non-binary or any of 56 genders is something I can respect as a form of self-expression, but not as a reason to come into a women's space or play in a women's sport, or be in a women's rape crisis centre.
Well, you just referred to Samantha as a man there. Do you not accept that what Lord Hodge said today is that trans people are still protected from discrimination and harassment under the Equality Act, and therefore you describing Samantha as a man there could be viewed as discriminatory or harassing?
No, it's not. What Lord Hodge said was the Equality Act protects trans people from harassment and discrimination. So that means things like you shouldn't be fired at work, you shouldn't be paid less than another person, you shouldn't be refused a booking at a restaurant or refused to be able to rent a flat, for example. But it doesn't mean that other people have to pretend that you are the sex that you're not, or to refer to you in the way that you want to be referred to as.
Let me get a response from Samantha to that. Samantha.
What is the danger of this group that is really mostly marginalized and mostly frightened and so on the general public or indeed women? I mean, what is the fear here from me and other people like me? What's so frightening about that?
I mean, I haven't talked about fear, but I mean, for example, men do the majority of crime, the majority of violent crime, 98% of sex crimes, and that's one of the reasons why we have single-sex spaces and services, why we have men's prisons and women's prisons. It's to protect women. And men who identify as transgender, who identify as trans women, are a vulnerable group. They're a vulnerable group of men, and they can be kept safe in men's prisons, for example.
Maya Forstater, I know many people would disagree with what you've just said, but thank you very much, and to Samantha Kane as well. Thank you both very much for coming on the programme.
Sorry about that. I had some technical difficulties. So you seen that? You heard that. We're recovering from literally the piece of our history that, in my opinion, will be called 1984. The EU has finally come out and actually banned transgender surgery, specifically for minors. Britain has finally come out and said, women are women and dudes can't be women. So, on one level, we're very much finally putting an end to this insanity, but on the other hand, we kind of aren't. This will still go underground. This will become more it'll just be underground. So we have to watch our backs. We have to be vigilant. Just because our president, Donald Trump, has finally made the correct decision to announce that, to agree that there is literally only two genders, and the EU has correctly said the same, and England has correctly said the same, doesn't mean we can not be vigilant. So stay vigilant. Never have two opposing opinions that clash with one another, 1984 style. Be a thinker. Be a critical analysiser. Critical thinking is one of the most important skills you can have. Anytime anybody makes blanket statements, think about it. Dissect it. Does it make sense? Anyways, so that does it for me. I hope you enjoyed this absolutely crazy video. Like, share, and subscribe for another individual's perspective. I am David Taylor. Peace.